Limitless, yeah, they've got more wins by technicality and the fact that they've played the map more, but their losses, they haven't come close. Not a single loss they've taken on Anubis have they gotten better than 7 rounds. So there's kind of a lot on the line right now. Again, we discussed what Limitless need in order to remain in ECL. This map guarantees it. Take flight, their only other contingency, so it's do or die on this pistol.
It isn't. It looks like heavy over towards A is the plan. And actually, Timbermen, they've had a similar idea. They've got 3 over. They have left Aleph to have a nosy in mid, but Nero actually clearing through canals, so much space, he's going to spot the backs, and he taps away at 1, so much information, and Shane can just pop his head out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the round done, and all off the back of that push from canals and the information that was retrieved.
Keeping my eyes peeled, because I'd like to be the guy to give Limitless fans some good news. However, that round is all but it. It'll be Glocks in the rebuttal. I don't see a buy coming when you don't get a bomb plant, so running them down. Timbermen should not have much of a difficulty gunning out this round and sweeping them into a third. Maybe a bomb plant if you're lucky, but no, they're shaping up toward mid. What's the game plan here? Hoping they push.
So, waiting for the smoke in mid to just fade a little bit here. But it's going to take a while. Nero's holding this angle, and JF has got to be wary. Toes gets napped off by the MP9, but he walks away with his life. And now, the rest of them, Shane going aggressive towards main. He's managing to dodge the bullets of Sev, but eventually taken down. However, it's all a bit of a misdirection. And they're still hiding in spawn. Absolutely no move from Limitless. No attempt to take map control. And Nero with 1. They're helping on out as well. And it's just an eco round. But it is dismantled before they can even really step foot outside of spawn.
Yeah, I can't tell you I'm entirely surprised. But the way of the world when it's Glocks v rifles, it's really no shock. So the AKs come out and try to put up a fight from Limitless early on. Again, one of the few maps in the pool regarded as key-sided. Limitless kind of need to make a statement for themselves here. And it's not like Timbermen have the craziest artillery either. It's 2 MP9s in this buy still featured. And only 1 kit.
Yeah, it is certainly odd. That is for sure. Now, early nade is going to tenderize Tender, and he's going to be hobbling for the rest of the round. But they're playing very passively here, Limitless. Taking their time, slowly having a little bit of a poke at a quad there. Holds off to try and clear out Dare. Flame's not quite going to spread, and he's just going to stand near enough by to hide back in connector the moment they're gone. And not quite sure if he's aware that there is a fight right around the corner for him.
Can't be giving Snav that much. Sure, he ends up walking wounded away from the duel, but he gets info on what's going on in canals. They don't end up finding that trade in mid, and maybe now a little timid to go in for re-aggression, but quite the inverse for Timbermen. Never really scared to take a fight. They decide to set Dare up in connector. Hopefully he can wiggle his way into an opening pick. However, even the worst is just him walking away 5-on-5.
True. And whilst it's not nice to have a player on such low health, even having them alive is the pressure that you can apply elsewhere on the map as well. So, good to see them still going. DJF, nice little advanced position, but they are taking their time. And when I say taking their time, if you have a look, 25 seconds remain. They've not actually managed to set foot on a bomb site. It looks like they're going to try rush and overwhelm this B site. Only 2 players directly on it. Snav is nearby. He's going to be quick on the rotate. Unfortunately, Shane is going to be the first point of contact. Gets 2. And they're still trying to fight onto site. DJF really needed to find anything there. But
wow.
Shane with all 4. Dare does steal away the ace, but can you really blame him? They keep that round so far under control and Limitless. Even if they had got one of those picks, time would have been the damning factor.
And again, it's Shane stepping up in order to give Timbermen the round. Obviously, I don't think it was a necessity, considering you were 5-on-3, 5-on-2 for the site defense. But he's taking it over at the start again. We saw it on Mirage. Now, if you're Timberman, you do not want that to slow down. Remember, that was a bonus, too. 2 MP9s that did get involved toward the end as well. It wasn't just the rifle showing up, even though running a lot to it. Shane, same with these kills here.
Cyrix with 1, but it's all that the team has got right now. And Tender, DJF, low HP, and Tender gonna hit the deck. DJF good for 1 more. He's managed to pick up that AK and actually putting up a final stand here. Nero, only 1 left in his way, and so much time on the clock to work with. And Nero's, he's sneaking around, but they're on different elevations right now, and what can you do here if you're DJF? We have the hindsight that we know where Nero is hiding. DGF doesn't have the same luxury. Just waiting, hoping he hears something, that there is an audio cue. But both of these players, they're just going to cut audio.
Honestly, this could go the way of Timberman, depending on the pathing of Nero right now. He is fully ensuring that you've not snuck around through CT spawn, but DJF, for a moment, it seemed like there was hesitation, considering that possibility, considering what that route would actually entail. But for now, he takes the more reasonable approach, slowly clearing out heaven, checking all these angles.
This is huge, though, because Nero's so far away that by the time that bomb goes down, the rotate as well, he's burned 10 seconds off of the clock, and DJF, he's going to hear the footsteps potentially if he's close enough. I think he's heard them. He's got the angle, he's waiting for it, but unfortunately low HP, he's not going to have the one-tap headshot he needs. But you got to give credit where it's due. To get the bomb down and to whittle it down to that 1v1, beyond impressive.
I mean, it was way closer of a round than it should have been, and honestly, almost donated by the Timbermen. You talk about individuals and feeling themselves. It's a lot of ego peaks here from Timberman toward the end. You see a 1v3, it's a Tech 9 against you, and you know what? It's whatever, right? Shane, I don't even entirely hate the idea of going in for the peak, because why not? You're up 3-on-1, it's not that big of a deal. It's the second one that has me a little concerned. They walk through the smoke again, exact same duel, exact same fight, hoping that maybe DJF would have turned by then, but no. Instead, they give him a chance in that round. And Timberman, had they lost it, would have only themselves to blame, but for now, again, catastrophe is avoided, and we go back to the next rifle. Basic stuff at the start, util thrown, no kills exchanged, not even damage.
None at all. Snav, this is going to be a difficult fight. The moment this smoke fades, there are people on the other side waiting. Tender has to be careful. Waiting for the right time to throw that Molotov. Last seconds, and Snap is going to back away. Here's that there's a lot going on down there, and it's going to call for a bit of reinforcement. Cyrix, elsewhere on the map, has picked up the first, and that's something that Limitless have maybe not had as much success with, is the opening picks now. Timberman weakened, have to readjust. Aleph's not heard anything over, and actually they've just evacuated mid, so they've got no eyes there as well. Limitless, if they head mid and they can split A here, potentially it's going to be a bit of a crunch that they can't really contend with. Snav is really going to have to step up here to stop them cutting through this map.
Nero, big go. Back to a 4-on-4 though. Aleph, a slight overextension in 8 tons grants them control of the site, and now Limitless litter it like ants on a hill. You need something back, but it's not given. No chances taken by Cyrix on the big green, realizing how monumental it is to field even just a one-man advantage in this circumstance. And Timberman, with how many players they lost in the previous round, I can't even fault them for attempting the save here. You need these guns.
I was going to say that, but then also I kind of had a look at their money here. And Snav might be the only one that's maybe a little bit pressed for cash, but, you know, 3v4 when you've got 4 grand in the bank for all of your players and then 10 grand on Nero. Maybe not the choice I would have gone with, but maybe I think they just thought that the defense was way too much. It was a fruitless endeavor, pulled a Jame time, and decided to call it quits early. Because it means that they can keep their money in a good place, which means that even if they lose this round, they're still good to buy on their next. So, playing the long game still, even if they would have had maybe not as an efficient long game going for it. I don't know. I can see both sides. I'm a big fan of going for the retakes. That's my personal, ethos. 4v3, I think it's doable. But actually, Timberman, maybe a smart call, as you said, to save even with the money.
Well, it awards them a lot more here. Full belts of utility kits everywhere the eye can see. Sam, oh my lord, how have you done that? Perfectly creeping under the barrel of Nero, and that'll grant him a chance onto maybe one overeager defender. Timberman, though, again, good response. Drop down, DJF hits the deck. No extra insight for Snav, and they try to set Dare up for more. It's just an inch too late. And now Shane's got to pick it up.
Shane spotted the elbow as well, but he's got bigger problems because Nero flushed out of the angle by the Molotov. Tender, again, spots the elbow. Molotov to put distance. He has to back away and respect this one. But it's all information. That bomb might actually start looking to head over towards A, because they know that there's at least 2 on this site. Nero, he saw it. They're trying to bait out the shot, but he is staying steadfast and ironclad in his will. And there's the slow shimmy over towards A.
This silence aids suspicion, though. Timbermen are cluing into this. It's just all about how fast they can get players where they need them. How quickly can they get bodies to the problem? Doesn't seem quick enough. Aleph, you dare peek this. I don't know. Smoke in heaven. Molly on the side. I think you gotta give it up and maybe attempt a more favorable duel.
Definitely would be a more favourable duel if they can find an opener. Seb, however, is going to be the difference maker. Shane step it up in a huge way, but it's not quite enough. And Seb with 2 this round. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. That's his first 2 kills of the game.
Yeah.
Big ones to find. Maybe a little later into the game. Tender. I've been saying this a lot over the past few days. There's a certain level of acceptability in not getting frags. But I think by round 6, you should have found at least 1. Because not all roles are going to be the glamorous roles that get you the high frags, right? But you got a player going into round 7 with nothing. It does raise some eyebrows, you know? Cyrix runs him on down, actually, and look at that. Tender with one of his own. We talked about it. We heard him. He heard us talking. And now low HP bodes perfectly for his signature weapon as well. Tender gonna tap in the digits. And Timberman looks like the call to save might already have been made.
I was gonna say, again, you just don't have that money to keep buying in, and Limitless are really starting to make him sweat now, because eventually this dam is going to burst wide open, and it'll be flowing with momentum for Limitless, because as soon as you send Timberman to pistols this late on into the half, it's going to have its drastic effects. You're probably switching hands of this lead. And considering, again, that lag take flight game isn't looking so favorable for take flight anymore, you got to step back up here. Obviously, I don't think Limitless are eyes off their monitors looking at a different stream, but point is that implication is still there. They are not settled in any position right now.
I couldn't agree with you more, and yeah, as you said, it's going to be an interesting round here, because there is money to buy around these saved weapons, but it's not going to be amazing. It's going to be these MP9s and a lot of missing utility on some of these players. Maybe not a lot of missing utility. They're going a lot more heavily into the utility than the weaponry, so those MP9s means that they are going to be able to afford almost full util. Missing a flash and a Molotov on a couple of players, but can you really complain? Beggars can't be choosers. They've got enough to go with. Cyrix waiting for the peek out connector, knows that Dare has been daring enough to go for it. He isn't able to be flashed off the angle. He's a little bit too close. The smoke, however, is going to do the trick, and he is just going to back away. In the midst of all of that, Tender's got 1. There's the opening pick again, untraded. The thing is, it's all in this mid battle. They've got so much resources dedicated to mid here, and they've not even stepped foot in it, Limitless. They're finding these picks, they're finding the impact, they're drawing away the attention, and they're not really having to expend much in exchange. DGF is unfortunately going to go down there, but Timberman, they've got a lot of map control, but it seems like they've not got a lot of information, and suddenly they've also not got a lot of players left.
Shane is still right on the problem. Needs the exact guy you want to try and find isolated duels. That's one of them. Keep giving him, and he will feed upon your T-side. Limitless, not learning from their previous iterations, and Shane's just saved a Timberman 5th.
That is wild. That would have been such a huge round for Limitless, and it looked so good, and then suddenly it starts slipping and slipping, and as you said, it seems that they're making this same cycle of mistakes, and it's never in the beginning of the round, right? Their early rounds have been looking quite strong at the moment. It's what comes afterwards. They've set themselves up really nicely, but whether it's them getting in their own heads there, maybe not quite listening and feeling for potential rotates, I don't really know what to say about it, but it's just, it always starts like it looks so good for them.
Yeah.
Unlike that is not a good start that looks good for them.
I mean, I can't entirely blame Seb, right? Because there's been a couple of times now where he's gone at that exact spot and he's found decent success. There have been holes to exploit of this Timberman defense toward A. So, kind of setting him closer, see what he can or can't find, sniff up with an investigation. It just doesn't go his way, and not exactly the time you want Limitless players to be falling for nothing. Sandman, good response. He was the MVP handedly of map 1.
Massively. And we're going to need to see him step up once again into that similar star role to keep them going in this series, in this tournament even. Now, Tender waiting as the angle just has to wait patiently. Is cleared, however. And the poor patience is not rewarded. Now the player disadvantage. Nero moves on over, flashed off, smoked off. Everywhere he goes, he's met with more utility. Tries to part the smoke, but there's another smoke deeper that he can't quite see through. Readjusting, has to be careful. Spots the crossover there. It is Salmon gonna fall, but it's actually Shane that gets the kill. DJF a final stand, and Cyrix desperately firing. There's one with the no-scope, needs a bit more. Oh, it looked so good, but alas, not quite enough there.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like most of that, even during the chaos, Timbermen, they knew what they were doing. They knew where they were going to find their advantages. So, even as good as the plant and maybe potential post looked, nah, it's just not enough. But they've still got funds in the tank. It's not the end of the world. You got to start converting some of these rounds, though. I mean, 6-6 already. It's a hard pill to swallow for Limitless, but better than the current outlook. Because right now, Timbermen, you play it slow, they've looked good. You get an opener, they've still looked good on the response. You let them retake, they've looked amazing.
I think they're just looking pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, they've been struggling more with the early games. It was something that I was praising them for, and the moment that I praised them for it, it stopped. So, that's not good. But, again, we need to see them finding them. They're pushing onto a site that's relatively empty. The smoke's to cut off Nero, so if they can make sure that he doesn't get ahead of it, they can take over this site. All they've got to do is contend with Aleph. Now Aleph, back site, they could actually just get this bomb down without ever even needing to see him, and I think that's the plan. Seb, lurking in mid as well, could be this final piece of the puzzle, but the issue is all gone through spawn instead.
Timberman, this might need addressing in the following couple of rounds. A lot of the leeway Limitless have had has been toward A. There's not been a great defense to put up from anchors and such. Did they just miss a molly? They did. They have to smoke it. They can't afford to wait on another one. It causes big problems for this retaking side. Sandman, fullest extent taken from him, and a couple of kills go the other way. Timberman have to run away.
That indeed, and actually even running away will not be proud and not be allowed. Taking away everything that they own. That AWP will not see the next round, and there's no money for them to rebuy it. Now, I think maybe the play here is just to save. Very limited. Maybe you get a couple of flashes on those players that have a bit more money. Snav, as you can see, is going to take an upgraded pistol, but make sure that you have as much money as you can so that you can buy that AWP and head into the final round at max capacity. That's what we're going to see. So this round, I've jinxed it with ecos before today, but you know what? I'm going to say it, this round should be relatively quiet. Tender going to take a chunk of his health because Cyrix gets a wallbang. as it's a direct hit, but through his teammate. This time, they allow him the space to work. They're not going to step in his way, and they're going to let him cook. Tender apologizes and atones for his sins in getting in the way of Cyrix by finding himself a kill. Now, 2 left alive. That bomb is going to go down, and timbermen so far removed from the situation that even exit kills aren't a certainty here, but they might as well go hunting for them.
No reason not to.
You'll find an AK, yeah.
You're gonna lose guns for this next round? I'm sorry, you're not gonna be able to afford rebuys? You're going against a full buy. You've got a full buy, so kind of just play into play. Why not? Oh, Tender! Not the time to put your knife, or rather, put your knife out, put your gun away. But it's at least gonna grant Snav an AK in the following round. Now, I don't think Seb's gonna be too head over heels to toss his AK into enemy hands. So, again, timbermen have to back down for a 5th, and Limitless can make this burn just a little easier. I still think 6-6 isn't the happiest you could possibly be, but again, this game started, what, 3-0, 4-0, something like that? Just timbermen one-sided affair is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, it was a very heavy lean to the timbermen at the start there, and yeah, Limitless have brought it back, but it is T-side Anubis, so you'd like to have seen them at least go even, and even that is not a certainty for them for right now. 6-6, you can make it acceptable. You win the pistol, and no one's even gonna bat an eye. 7-5 down, that's where a couple of questions start to be raised, all things considered. It's a good half. I don't think they're going to be necessarily too mad, but if they can find a little bit more, they make their life just a tad easier, and Cyrix is not going to find the kill. Another shot, he's got so much information about the people that are here, but he's not able to find anything on it, and unfortunately, not even able to trade out Sandman, and now 2v4. Weapons advantage still on the side of Limitless, but does it really matter? Player down, Tender's tagged. Seb does find the equalizer, and that is huge. Rest of his team, tussling mid, needs to go their way. They need to take down Aleph here. Tender, so much health, a bright red chunk in his health bar.
What?
Oh, if he just looked a second earlier, he saved his teammate. And they would have had so much more of an advantage here, but the issue with Snav is already up close. Molotov is going to go deep, but I don't think they expected him to be ahead of it. It's a 2K to finish off the half, 7-5.
Well, for Limitless fans, I wish I could deliver good news out of this break. However, Take Flight are still fighting for their life on the other game. They are in overtime 3, and again, a game in which if Take Flight win, Limitless can have their worries quenched here. However, there's a realistic world we get through the second half first. So Limitless, all cards still in their hands. Only 2 rounds down. The pistol can change that lead back.
It can indeed, and it has to be now. Losing the CT side pistol, suddenly the rounds and the rest of the map starts to slip away, and it's Timbermen with the opening, a smoke as well to go deep, and it's just another nail in the coffin. Aleph wants to have a bit more to say, and Limitless, they watch their team, their numbers already dwindling, and they know they have to find a way to get back into this, but unfortunately, there's not much to be found. Seb gets one, but he can't dance around the bullets forever, and Limitless, a pistol round, so necessary for them. Alas, not going to be theirs.
And they've got to swallow their pride and work harder in the future. That pistol was their best chance at getting back into this game. Now it'll be a lot more hard fought and to be a lot more reliant on external circumstances. But for now, it's a 9th that we'll soon be discussing from the Timbermen's perspective. And I'd imagine another bonus to follow up after that. Now, one thing that I don't think Limitless have used enough of was that A-site hold for Timbermen. A couple of times, in fact, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe every plant they got happened at A. Whereas, they had a couple good looks from Seb. Even though his stat line might not be the most impressive, but every kill he has is straight impact. It's just the hold Timbermen got, I think, away with way more than they should have.
Yep, couldn't agree more, and here we are, they're doing it again, and it's just, I'll be honest with you, I think there's a certain level of looking at it individually as well. People like Shane, because Shane has just been a mechanical turret this game, right? And yeah, they've got these amazing setups, and there's a big argument to be made with don't give him the 1v1s. Don't peek one by one. But the issue is his readjustment, his transfers have been so impeccable that he's been getting these 2-3 kills before anyone can even blink. Storming onto the site, and they just haven't found a way to shut him down with utility yet. He's just been running rampant. And it's just pure headshot ability.
You might see it again, because guess where they're going? Straight into B, no holds barred. Full edge second, there's only 2 here in defense. Shane, 4 strikes first, but his job's not yet done. And in fact, it may never end.
There's a team kill.
Wait, I didn't even see that.
Oh no, it hurts to see.
Honestly, worst possible time.
Yep.
But very rare that takes like that goes so successful. Unlike first gun rounds, you can't hate it because it's a bonus from Timbermen at the end of the day, right? You want to make an advantage out of your disadvantages and maybe try to hit them while they're setting up, but it just doesn't work out. Bai's going to come back through, and honestly, Limitless look worse off with this investment than they did in the previous because of how many players they lost. Even though it was like 2, it's rebuys they couldn't really afford.
Yep. They are going to be struggling on this one as well. Utility so few and far between, and a lot of it already expended here. Now there's the pick. Sandman gets one. There's an immediate trade. Good. Now progress on forward. They quest on towards this site again. Mid has just been completely forsaken. They're wanting to play and try and keep this control from afar. The issue is toying with this smoke. Has to be careful. It comes on out. It is going to block them. Are they choosing to go through it? They've not got a flash to help them. So they're just going to sit and wait. They're really relying on this player coming from canals. They're really, really hoping that Aleph can get something to try sort this out. But actually, yeah. It's uncomfortable, it's messy. Shane gets one, but it's kills back and forth, and it's never on the trades and on the people you expect it to be on. And the health looking pretty miserable for both of these, well, all of these players, really.
I'm a little surprised with how quick the decision was to go back to B. They didn't actually know where Cyrix was, if I'm remembering correctly, unless they had some underlying assumption that he was the A player. And then you spot Seb in long, you know, obviously connect the dots. But you know now, At least you can guarantee that. And Alif peeks back in to attempt the trade, successfully gets it, and they leave it to Seb. A kit in a smoke, and you know he's isolated in connector. You'd rather take the fight, though. You know he's bleeding, he's bleeding. This 1v1 is huge, and it's not one that timbermen are ready to donate. The round taken and Limitless broken.
It's just the ever so slight reposition. Because the thing is, he wasn't close enough to be able to figure out whether, you know, he'd left connector, whether he was playing back in canals. Just the reposition within connector, it's so subtle, it's so small. But playing on that off angle, not playing close to the wall, taking a step out, meant everything. And it's just those small little moments that timbermen, they're really shining in.
It's what separates them from a lot of other teams in this region, really.
Yeah, that is for sure. It's a team that I've had my eye on for a little while. It's a team that's been in the public eye a lot, I'm sure we can say that. Now, they're peeking around the corner, having a little bit of a jiggle. That nade is awesome. Aleph gets one there with two, and suddenly the round is over, and this has been the issue, is that timbermen, they've been patient. They lie in wait, they lie in the tall grass waiting to pounce, and then the moment they hit that site, everyone on the site gets annihilated, and there is nothing left for them to even build a retake with.
This round, I think a little more a formality, but man, that was just an all-around beautiful hit from timbermen. Seb, he just wasn't ever given a chance to come back and to retake it, so unlucky it seems, and Limitless will now again find themselves down in quite the deficit of themselves. I don't really know what they can scrape together, because this investment's gonna hurt them in the long run. Obviously, numerically, it kind of makes sense, right? To save after giving them 12, but then you're facing 6 series points with not a lot to your name. You're probably missing it off, depending on how much money you get here. And then utility, honestly, forget about it. Kit's another thing, too, but at this point, it's already been decided.
Yeah, it seems like it is... Oh, are they... I don't know what we just witnessed. I'm hoping that was maybe a little bit of banter between friends. Because if that was completely unintentional, you know, no, you go, no, you go. That's, you waste a couple of seconds at the start of the round, especially when you're looking to take an aggressive play like that. You're not really going to want to give those away. TJF, it's so much information to work with. He can just hide in the smoke and no one's going to know. But the issue is the moment he peeks, there's like 5 people waiting for him. So the trigger discipline means nothing in the overall scheme of things. It's a little moment for us to go, ooh, at. But if there had been more people alive, different matter. When you are the only one left, you go for whatever killer you can find, instead of trying to outthink all 5 of your opponents.
Yeah. You know, Limitless, they fought hard on Mirage. I gotta give them credit there, but unless this is like some eye-opening rifle round, might feel like we're at the finish line here, and timbermen have well earned the result of a win. Now, I don't think they move up in the rankings seeding-wise. I don't believe that changes much, if at all. I guess with Fluffy Aimers losing their map against Revenge Nation, sure, there's a world they overtake there, but it's not a crazy big deal.
Well, timbermen were technically already higher than Fluffy Aimers based on round differential. Because Fluffy Aimers have lost a lot more rounds than timbermen. So again, I think you're right. I don't think it affects the standings, at least for timbermen, in any way.
Yeah, no, a lot of this kind of just flies for Limitless, and it's playing spoiler, realistically.
Yeah, this one is a lot of just keeping their position, maintaining their seeding, and really just consolidating their place at the end of the group stage. It's one for the mental, it's one for the practice and the reps. Limitless, this was really a weight on their shoulder more than anything, but 3v3, Step here's the footstep, he needs a multi-kill, he's not able to find anything, but it's a lot of damage. The issue is Cyrix with the orb isn't able to fully utilize that damage, and Nero, he's pushing on up, could very easily catch him off guard. There's Cyrix
no.
down, and Sandman, the last one. The smoke fades. He's got all three. He lines up the first, he lines up the second and the third, gets it, and loads of time for the defuse. And that, massive fumble of the back there from Timbermen.
I was hearing a lot of typing too, so I imagine there's some smack talk involved in that. Limitless. Oh, that's going to be a great tasting round to now shove down their throats. Doesn't mean the job is done. You still got 5 in a row. However, stay alive for now.
Holy moly. I don't... It's just so well played from Sandman, but the issue is, I think it was... We can say that it was well played, but you've also got to take a look at the fact that it was an issue from Timberman. It was the fact that he got all 3 kills and had time to. Nobody reacted quick enough, and no one expected him to be there, despite the fact that they had 3 times the number of players and information and the bomb down. It's... You can talk about how well it was played, but you've also got to talk about the fact there was a big fumble in the midst of that. But as you said, they've still got a 5-round buffer and a load of money to their name. So they can still do this, and the weaponry from Limitless is still patchy. So, Timberman, mental reset. They're professionals. Sit down. Go again.
Again, it's a lead that feels like it's too big to fail, so we're actually going to see if that holds water and holds ground or not, as they attempt to hit the stacked up side of the 2B. It's one smoke to try and help them in, the lurk over on Pizza, and they're going to crunch this.
Here comes the crunch there with the clusters. We felt ourselves saying so much. There's one more. They've run on down Cyrix, and now Sandman and Seb. It's going to need to be Sandman 1v5. Gets the first, peeks the corner, takes down the player in connector. The flash is good, and there's an immediate response. Another player there. Dodges the next flash. Molotov to put distance. They know where he's coming from. He has to step forward. There's no point in being quiet. The confidence is unfortunately not going to be enough to carry them over the line. And it's amazing. It's impeccable. And look at that, 123 ADR at the end. That is a crazy amount. The Timbermen, they take the second best of 1. And that does mean that Limitless, their fate hangs massively in the balance.
Well, honestly, I'm glad you said it, because as of just a couple of minutes ago, the map concluded with Take Flight winning over Lag, I believe 22-19.